Why did Alpine pretend Oscar Piastri was driving for them? Oh my goodness. What a day to be on F1 Twitter. I honestly cannot believe this is even a video I'm releasing for you all. But yes, it is true that Alpine announced Oscar Piastri to drive for them in 2023, only for Oscar himself to say that he has not signed anything and will not be driving for them next year. Let's run you through the timeline and then explain why on earth would Alpine say such a thing when it wasn't strictly true. So first and foremost, Alpine tweeted an announcement today to suggest that Oscar Piastri had been promoted to F1 driver alongside Esteban Ocon. This rather strange post that was uploaded at 5:11 PM my local time on a Tuesday, note that would have been 2:11 AM in Australia, certainly raised a few eyebrows. Not only was the scheduling all off and none of Australia awake, but there was no quotes to go along with it from Oscar, no mention of the word signed, only promoted, and Oscar himself had absolutely nothing go out on his social media platforms. Nothing. Nada. It literally said he was still a reserve driver for Alpine. And still does, surprisingly. It certainly got me and many other F1 fans thinking, this smells a bit off. But surely Alpine wouldn't try and deceive us all about a driver signing for them, right? Wrong. Sure enough, Oscar Piastri dropped the biggest F1 bombshell in quite some time, which quite literally exploded the internet. He said exactly this: I understand that, without my agreement, Alpine F1 have put out a press release late this afternoon that I'm driving for them next year. This is wrong, and I have not signed a contract with Alpine for 2023. I will not be driving for Alpine next year. Yup, you heard that right. Oscar full-blown denied that any agreement had been made and that he's not signed a contract. Not only this, but he also categorically stated that he won't be driving for them next year. That is quite some statement. Within 1 minute of Oscar posting, you best believe the biggest stirrer in the paddock, Fernando Alonso, jumped on Instagram to merely post a cheeky thumbs up whilst on holiday, which is just such a Fernando thing to do. Kinda think his next half of the season with Alpine might be a little bit frosty though. Right, we're now going to explore why oh why would Alpine pretend Oscar Piastri is driving for them next year. Well, it's heavily rumoured that Oscar's contract with Alpine ended on the 31st of July, meaning theoretically he can go and speak to other teams and see what's on the table. Alpine clearly have felt quite vulnerable, not only because of Oscar, but because of how silly Fernando Alonso made them by jumping ship to Aston Martin next year at such short notice. So what Alpine have attempted to do, and failed dramatically, is a power play. They've tried to almost force Oscar, who has never driven in F1, into a seat with them by announcing him as being promoted and racing for them. They obviously do not know how far the talks have gone with other teams, and it may well have worked had Oscar not made much progress. But instead, Oscar turned around and just said, "Nah mate, you're good." That was a terrible Australian accent, I'm sorry. It was clear desperation from Alpine to try and not lose a star young driver in the 2021 F2 champion, but it seems as though it really has backfired. Now this will evolve in the coming days and weeks, I am sure. I'm also convinced we'll hear a lot of news from legal teams getting involved in contracts. Whatever the boring and long drawn out outcome, we will never forget that moment on F1 Twitter where it all kicked off. There you have it, a look into what went down with Alpine and Oscar Piastri. What do you make to the whole situation? Let us know in the comment section below.